Today I am here to inform you guys about color symbolism and how that changes from person to person as well as culture to culture. We will talk a little bit about what a few different colors mean in the U.S. and how that varies in other cultures, as well as how the cones on our eyes receive color and how that may affect color representations as well. So we're going to start out, and we're going to start out with the color red. Red is one of our primary colors. It is said to have more personal associations than any other color. This is done by some research from Dr. Smith. Color symbolism with red in the United States and Western culture tends to symbolize power, passion, aggression, love. We use this a lot on Christmas and Valentine's Day. Another one of our primary colors is blue. Blue in the U.S. is known as a color that represents serenity, peace, and harmony. We use it a lot in baby showers as a masculine color, though this isn't the case in other places such as Norway. Olson said that blue is a cool and calming color that shows creativity and intelligence. It's also my favorite color. One of our secondary colors is green. In the U.S., we see this as a lucky color. We also use it for environmental awareness. Also represents spring and new birth. It occupies more space in the spectrum visible to the human eye than most other colors. That's part of Smith's research as well. We associate green with St. Patrick's Day, and that is usually a lot where we see this, and green, four-leaf clovers and such. White, as my backdrop is, in the U.S. represents angels, peace, purity. We also wear white on our wedding day as a symbolism of being pure, though that's not always the case. That's kind of the traditional U.S. wedding, is with a white wedding dress. So now that we've talked a little bit about what colors mean in our culture, let's talk about some of the main color differences that we see in other cultures. So green is not always a happy new birth color. It is actually a forbidden color in Indonesia and represents death in South America. I learned this from Scott Chemis's research, and it's thought that was very interesting. It's the complete opposite of what we see when we see green. In Celtic religions, green was the green man and was used to represent the god of fertility, and early Christians banned it due to its use in pagan rituals. I learned that from Morton. In other countries, white is not such a happy color as well. In China and India and other Eastern cultures, white is actually a representation of death and mourning. Very sad, not exactly what you would want to wear your white dress to. You might, in these places, wear white to a funeral instead of wearing white to a wedding. So it's a complete role reversal as well due to that culture. Red is still a passionate color across the board. It's a very emotional color. It doesn't have too much variation, but it's used a lot in Chinese culture to represent luck. So you see a lot of red in that because they believe it is a lucky color. So besides how we see colors and how we symbolize them, each individual sees them in different ways. A good point of this is the blue dress versus white dress argument that went viral on the web a while back. Is it blue? Is it white? Is it gold? And I read a lot about this and got kind of annoyed about hearing about it, but I started reading into Derval's research, who talks about the color nuances we see depending on the number of distributions of cones and color receptors on our eyes. So Derval came up with this awesome little test. It is a picture of a spectrum. It's broken up into 39 colors, and the individual goes and they count how many colors they see, and it's supposed to give a rough idea of how many cones are on their eyes and how that affects their color perception. So if you count 20 different colors or less, you are a dichromat, which means you have 2 cones on your eyes, and this accounts for 25% of the population. Most of the population, 50%, have 3 cones on their eyes, and that means when they counted, they saw 20 to 32 different colors. You can also have 4 different types of cones on your eyes. That's another 25% of the population. And that means when they see this test, they would count 33 to 39 different colors. I actually fell in I think I counted like 34 or something, just barely made it into the tetrachromat, which I thought was really interesting. She believes that tetrachromats may not be as affected by the color of the dress as other people, and also they don't really super like the color yellow, which is weird because I don't hate yellow, it's just not my favorite color. It's a little harsh on my eyes. So I hope you learned a lot about colors and meanings and how our eyes interpret it. They are a powerful source of symbolism and emotion, and depending on your ethnic background or where you are from, this can vary drastically. Having a good understanding of how color and the human eye perceives it can be a powerful tool to aid in future endeavors and multicultural scenarios or in your work as a liaison to other countries. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed learning about colors.